What's up guys, it is Monday, which means I'm starting off my Crimson Moon's Fairy Tale ruler deck profiles. I'm starting off with no other than Grimm, the Fairy Tale Prince, because he's one of the most iconic rulers we have and the cover art for the box itself. I decided to go with the Granny Bonsai attack version, which is actually extremely fun to use, so let me show you guys the deck. For the Magic Stones, I decided to run 2 Magic Stones of Light. This is because I have Guibers and Telefairy Tales and I didn't want to only rely on my 4 red whites. And then the rest is 4 Magic Stone of Fire, and I have 4 of those, and 4 Magic Stone of Heat Ray, which is the red-white. So by using 2 mono whites, it means that even if you hit both of them, your 3rd stone is guaranteed to produce fire, which is very important because that lets you awaken Little Red and play Guiber that same turn. So you want to be able to turn 3 Telefairy Tale or turn 3 Guiber and Little Red. And of course, the first 2 turns you can always Cheshire Cat or drop any other Fairy Tale set up for late game. There's just so many options with this deck. For the Resonators, I decided to run 4 Cheshire Cat, which is of course a staple in any Grimm deck. Being able to search out those Guibers while still being a 1-drop for that Guiber is amazing because it instantly makes it cost less. 4 Little Red, which of course summons Granny. This is the whole point of the deck. You want to be able to flood the field as fast as you can. There's also 4 Tinkerbells, which is extremely important. With Little Red, this is a 6/6 instantly, and it gets really beefy when you start dropping Cheshires or doubling up on Little Reds. 3 Grannies. Normally I like 2 Grannies with 4 Little Reds because even in decks where I'm using Little Red and it's not Grimm, I can always discard the extra Little Reds with Guinevere, because normally I'll run Guinevere when I run Red. But in this deck it didn't matter because I could always pitch Granny as a Fairy Tale for Grimm's effect anyway. So I really like being able to just flood the field, have a bunch of buffed up Tinkerbells, a bunch of Little Reds and Cheshire Cats, all waiting for Bonsai attack to just win the game. And then I have a really strong toolboxy engine as well. I have 1 Grimm for those dark decks because a lot of regionals out there are starting to not play with Regalias or banning Bahamut or something. So cards like Menasalpes and stuff will see a lot of play. So this is always good for that. You can always just pitch it as well. 1 Glinda, which works really well with Rapunzel in general, making it unblockable. That way you're fully safe even if they have flying, and you can OTK. The Little Prince, which can heal if you are playing against Bahamut, normally in this deck because there's Grannies that are level 3, Cheshires that are level 1, Guibers that are level 5, this gets really beefy anyway. 1 Rapunzel just to possibly OTK. I have Telefairy Tales, so if you get it off, it's fine. If you don't, it's just an option. And Oz because I do have a lot of 1-drop spells, but I'll show them off later. 1 Etna because it is sometimes good to go with Etna over Hamlin. And 1 Hamlin. Like I said, I'm only running 3 Telefairy Tales. I was going to say 10. I'm only running 3 Telefairy Tales, so I didn't really want to double up on Hamlin or anything. I liked having this whole toolbox engine and just focusing on the main win condition, so I only ran 1 of everything, and then just 4 Guibers for the last Resonator. For the spells, I have a Duel of Truth, which works very good with Little Prince, Tinkerbell, or Hamlin. There's just a lot of beefed up monsters, and it works really well with them in general. I like having access to it as I could search it with Oz. 1 Crime and Punishment, same thing as Duel of Truth. It has really good uses, especially against decks like Bahamut. They're not really expecting you to use it in something like Grimm, especially because this build is kind of popular now, but I wouldn't really see Crime playing too much, but it still has a lot of uses, so having 1 to access with Oz isn't bad. You can just summon Oz, search your Crime and Punishment, attack into them with like a 200 Tinkerbell, or 400 Tinkerbell at this point if you're kind of low on advantage, and then just play Crime and Punishment anyway, so you can use it aggressively. It doesn't always have to be predictable. 4 Thunder, just self-explanatory, 500 Direct. You don't actually see Thunder played really often in Grimm decks, but I find the 500 Direct really important too because Bonsai attack does get them extremely low, and being able to just Thunder for game is really important. Split Heaven and Earth, I run 2 of these. I have 2 more sided because Bahamut is still a thing and I don't want to have too many dead possibilities in my deck, but Split Heaven is actually really great in this deck because, like I said, it either gets them in range for Bonsai attacks Pierce to kill them, or just kills them after Bonsai attack might have not been as successful as you had hoped. 3 Telefairy Tale, I didn't have too many targets, so I decided to run 3 over 4. I've also seen a lot of Grimm decks that actually just don't use Telefairy Tale at all anyway, so I figured I'd run 3, but I didn't want it at 4. And then 3 Bonsai attack. So Bonsai attack says all your Resonators gain 700 and 0 and Pierce until end of turn. And at the end of turn, you destroy all your monsters and your J-Ruler, which of course we don't have because we're running Grimm. But essentially the idea of the deck is to drop Little Red, summon Granny, Little Red, summon Granny, have like Tinkerbells or all these 1-drops on the field, including even Cheshire, and then you give everything 700 and start swinging. And even Cheshire 700 is pretty big for a Cheshire, and if they don't block it, that's 700 free damage. If they do, you shuffle back because of course it doesn't make your defense go up, but they take all the pierce. And with the Thunders and with the Split Heaven and Earths and just stuff like turn 3 Tale of Fairy Tale and all these possibilities, you're already getting a lot of damage on board, so it's almost impossible. If this goes through, they're most likely losing the game. So this card is just insanely strong. For the side deck, I run one Susanoo as my only sided Resonator. I didn't want to double up on cards like Glinda and stuff because I felt as though it was fine to just run one. I have two Crime and Punishments. I just like the option of being able to search more with Oz if needed. This still does work okay against Bahamut. It's not always ideal, but if they don't have Excalibur, it could work really well. Some of them don't main it, so you never know. It's nice to have on the side. 3 Savior Splendor. I could have gone with more Grimms, but I wanted to be safe and just go with this. Grimm is a body and it's searchable, but I wanted to be able to still spam as much as I can because there's no ramp in the deck, and I'd rather be able to play one of this and one Cheshire over just paying 2 for Grimm. 2 Volcanoes just works really good against Vlad. Gaining life is kind of annoying. If you side this in, you'd of course take out Little Prince. But yeah, Vlad sometimes gets a little out of control when it starts healing too much and it just gets you too far out of the range to do enough damage. So I like having access to Volcano. 3 Return to Stories for other decks. A lot of people are running this Little Red Granny engine, and this could actually just be sided for Granny itself because it is such a big defense. And when they have it, they just feel really safe, and if you swing with something that's like 800, let's say like a Naya or anything like that, maybe a Haster if you're playing something like Cthulhu, and they try to block with Granny, if you can shuffle this into their deck and you're playing like a Dark White Alice or something like that, yeah, you can side into this and easily just remove Granny from the game, and it's just really nice to know that you could just get rid of anything that's really good defense, not to mention it works against other Grimm decks for stuff like Hamlin and Rapunzel and stuff as well, so it has a lot of uses. And then 2 Dream of Juliet. This is mainly not for the protection or the draw effect, but I actually just wanted access to Addition Destruction. I felt kind of unsafe not having any at all, and I was going to go with the Emperor, but he doesn't destroy field, so I just wanted to go with Dream because it targets everything. And then 2 more Split Heaven and Earth. If you're going against something like Vlad, it's safer to side 2 more of these in. If you're going against Bahamut, you would of course take your 2 out, but yeah, I wanted 4 in total, so I went 2 main, 2 side. So thanks for watching, guys. That was of course my Granny Grimm deck profile. If you guys do have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you do, because I have 4 more deck profiles coming this week, as well as 5 next week, wrapping up all of CMF, and a bunch of spoiler talk because I can't wait to see the spoilers. Hashtag Arla is life because I need to know what that ruler does now. I'm literally dying to see it. And the bow, I'm just so excited for those 2, so I can't wait to see those. If anyone sees them, please message them to me first. I will give you like the greatest shout out ever. I'll literally like somehow just go do a whole video about how I think you're the coolest person in the world. I literally need to know what that card does. But anyway, if you do want a copy of the deck list, just check out the Too Long Didn't Watch version in the description below, which will be a really quick just skim through the whole deck so you guys can get the list. And I will catch you guys next time.